So today I have the pleasure of sitting down with a good bloke called Christopher, who is literally changing the world at Metier. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the process of how you go from having a generic website and also having a website that Google is not interested in and no one even sees, to having a website that he's really proud of. So Christopher, what was it we did last week that when you and I were chatting that was your first step towards working out what your niche is? Because you were basically saying before, we do everything, and now you've upgraded your site a bit. What did you do?
Firstly, I wanted to work out what it was specifically that I personally wanted to do because I didn't even think of what market, like, because that was the biggest question that I've never heard in this particular situation of, who are you marketing to? Who's your target market? And until you asked me that question, it got a bit more clearer and it reverted back to as to why I wanted to get into the industry.
Yeah.
And specifically it was because going through my own struggles, I I got into mental health for majority of my career and as well as in disabilities and employment services. But that was the main reason why I wanted to get into this industry. So obviously the opportunity came up and then, yeah, so talking to my team as to what if we were to work out what market we want to tackle, the question I asked was, majority of our clients, what is the actual disability? And they said mental health. So it sort of resonated and it sort of clarified this or the business as to where I wanted to head. And based on the age group, yeah, our youngest would be about 16 years old. So we're moving towards people with mental health issues from 16 and above.
That's amazing, and I can vouch, guys, for Christopher. He's the real deal. His team are the real deal. They're good at what they do. Okay, so I guess Christopher, that came out of last week when you and I first met up. Basically, I said to you, your website just says you do everything. Clicked on, but now
Sure.
you're saying, here's what you do. Like that's really cool. And the majority of your participants are male, so you filled it with photos of guys who are male. But it's like suddenly there's clarity. That's cool. And how did you come up with that? Because obviously last week you and I talked, and then I said, "Well, go and have a coffee with yourself and work
Yes.
out how did that work? What did that look like for you? How did you work out who you're going to focus your business on?"
Well, the funny thing was, I left that meeting and literally went out and had a coffee at the local shopping center.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I did what you said. But it was just that time that I had for myself to really work out, all right, why? Why am I, or why did I start this business, or why did I get into this industry in the first place? And it just brought back memories, to be honest, and just reverting back to my own personal experiences, and then obviously talking to the team to further clarify we're going to head into this mental health world. It put a smile to my face, to be honest, because there was more purpose now
Yeah. I'm
through
really
the
excited
through
for
the
you.
clarity.
Good
Yeah.
work. And hats off to you, because most people will step away from asking the hard questions of themselves. And whereas we can't promote you to the world unless we know what to promote. And vanilla doesn't promote itself. Okay. So you went and you had the hard conversation with yourself. You worked out, oh, here's where we specialize. And now you've started tweaking your website to move towards that.
Yeah, now I had um I was thinking what should I do? Should I change Metier Disability Services to just Metierre? Or I was even thinking, oh, do I need to change the name? But I'm still happy with the name, so
Yeah.
I'll
People
keep
get all uptight, Christopher, about their name and their logo. It's not
yeah,
what moves the needle. What moves the needle is the clarity that you've got there.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And it's also, what does Google think of your website? So here's something that I looked up before. At a
yeah,
score of 1 to 100, Google gives you 0 for your website. So that's probably something to fix. Okay. And so what that means is people do go to your website if you give them your specific website to go to and they like it, but Google's not showing you to anyone. Okay.
sure.
So how would you like me to show you what I would do in your shoes to fix that?
Please, that'd be great.
Okay, so at the moment your website only has 3 pages. You've got your home page, you've got your services page, and you've got your contact page. Okay, so the basically that's Google looks at your site like, oh, he's only got 3 pages. I'm not going to take him seriously. I'm not going to show it to people. Okay, so the first thing you'd do is you'd take your services and you'd break each of these, 1, 2, 3, into 3 separate pages. And I guess what that would look like would be, say, on this is a much bigger website that I did earlier this year. Their services, they got a lot more services, but every one of these pages tells Google there's something of value here. Okay, and so if I go on to say this page, because I know you do community access as well, they've got real photos and they've got an explanation of, what it's about, how do they do it, and detailed info. So, and the thing is, when Google looks at their site, it goes, oh, hold on, they've got a lot to offer. As well as that, they're giving away some advice, which helps. So you could split your services into personal care, CP, and respite care. Okay. Suddenly you don't have 3 page website, you've now got, a 5. Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then what else you could do is you could have a page that's all about advice, specific advice for someone who is needing your care. So if we're going to talk complex mental health, these
Yeah.
guys here, for example, if you go to their homepage, you've got, say, they talk about, we're here to help people. They've got their real photos, but they've actually got a whole page dedicated to helping people understand, well, what are the factors in NDIS for complex mental health?
Wow.
So if they've done that, I guess the question would be for you, what advice can you give away? Like, what topics would you talk about boldly and in a way that's opinionated and helpful, specific for someone who's just discovered you? What could you say? Limit your Xbox time to 3 hours a day and go outside at least once. Like, what
Yeah.
might be some other things that you've seen work for other participants that you've looked after?
Or just even with the screen time, like on their like tablet or iPad, and also maybe just which is a tricky subject, the eating habits. So what they're eating is not necessarily healthy because a lot is like fast food is too easy. There's not much fruits
Yeah,
and things that I do notice. But and then even yeah, just general exercise like walking, simple walking. Even maybe possibly to assist like having some music while they do some exercise or
that's really cool.
yeah.
So I guess what you're doing is you're talking about screen time, nutrition, and exercise. That means I can't have this food and this food and this food. But then your advice would be, no, do eat Maccas, but also have a piece of fruit while you do it.
Yeah.
Do drink Coca-Cola, but do you need the Coca-Cola that's making you fat, or do you want the Coke no sugar that's gonna you can drink as much as you want, you're not gonna get fat. So I guess you'd be giving that, and maybe you'd have like a mental health tips spot on your page, and under that, you like basically what you're doing, what these guys did, but you're breaking it into categories.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and now the magic of that is, at the moment we've got a mess here that Google hates you. Like, no, it doesn't hate you; it ignores you. It acts like you're not even there. Okay,
Yeah.
part of Google's job is to give, when people are searching for stuff, give them great information. At the moment, there's no information on your page except here's what we do. That's not information Google's going to show. It wants to it wants to see you giving great advice. You creating those pages would give great advice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then another thing that you'd want to do on your website, if you look at your contact page, it's like, how excited do you feel right now when you look at your contact page? What are your thoughts?
It's pretty plain.
It's pretty plain. Like, there's no
Yeah.
emotion generated. Now, what's really good about it is it's simple,
Yeah.
okay? But if we zoom in a bit, you're asking for their first name, last name, email, and a message. So let's imagine if I give you my details and I give you my email, but then it goes to spam. I'll never hear from you. I'll never know that you tried to contact me.
Right.
And probably unless you guys are set up better with your emails than I'm guessing you are, probably a quarter of your emails that you send to unknown email addresses are going to spam. So
Okay.
over a year, that's a lot of inquiries that you lose just by not having the email. So you definitely need a phone number. What you'd do is you'd combine first name and last name in a name,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'd have email, phone number, and then you can make message, how can we help?
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah. And then what you want to do is you want to find one of the demographic of a support coordinator.
Yeah.
You and
Yeah.
I are not. Okay. So if a support coordinator comes along, they're like, I can't relate to this Michael guy or this Christopher guy.
Yeah.
And again, going back to that same site, what What did we do for them? That's Eve. She's gold. She's great to chat with, and you can see that from the photo.
Sure.
Okay, so if you have a page that looks like that, when people get to your, oh, I'm going to get in touch with them, they don't go, oh, hold on. Oh, actually, I don't know. Like, there's no emotion there. When you've got something like this, you can go, right, yes, you're in the right spot. You know what? Make a promise. I'll get back to you today.
Yeah.
Because their local area coordinator doesn't give that promise. You know, in fact, half the services I get in touch with don't give that promise. Be better than everyone else with your promises. And there they've got name, phone, email, and how can we support you? Great. So there's that level of personal kindness that you have as a person, but it's not coming through here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's have a quick look at your homepage. Okay, great photos. Oh yeah, we were chatting before we made this video about the sliders move too quickly. And to be honest, you don't even want sliders in 2024. Just leave them static, you know, because they don't work on mobiles or don't work well on mobiles. And also, people have to make an emotional connection or they're going to go to someone else. That's great you're good at COVID-19, but it's not 2019 anymore. I reckon knock that out of the park. You probably don't need that.
All right.
Oh, is it all right if I go down a crazy little rabbit hole here?
Yeah.
All right, why choose us? When you go to someone's website and it says why choose us, what's going through your head?
Qualifying.
Yeah, it could be that. Or it could also be they have a sense of a need to prove themselves.
Yeah.
Now, when you are, instead of why choose us, like on this site, you won't find a why choose us. You will find a lot of good advice around how to look after your mental health.
Mm.
So if you're giving great advice, you don't have to tell people why they should choose you. They just go, heck, I want Christopher. He's good at his work.
Sure.
Okay, so I would be inclined to knock out the why choose us. It's self-serving.
Yeah.
Instead of that, you'd say, what's the process? Or frequently asked questions, because you can still get it across.
Yeah.
Without it looking self-serving. And that there's so good. Meet and greet within a week. No waiting list. Like, that's great. Also, no waiting list implies that you're not popular. So you and I know that you're good at your craft. You don't have a waiting list because you value people. But you need to explain that. Meet and greet within a week. Right. More waiting list, and we prioritise new people because we know it matters to you. You know what I mean? Something like that.
I love it.
Yeah. What else? Wow, that's amazing. We don't charge kilometres if travels within 20 kilometres. Okay, that is a massive thing. That's going to save people's budgets hugely. That should be right up the top here.
Oh, okay.
So up the top, you've got to give them a reason to read on. At the moment, there's no reason. There's just a photo of a bloke at the river. You know, happy that he's out and about. That's cool. But there's not a compelling reason to go forwards. Like if we go to say this site, helping you through life's ups and downs, and they're very specific about what they do. And then they talk to us like they're actually humans, like they're not, you know, Centrelink or something, or a bank. They're just being kind, yeah?
Yeah.
So you got to get something like that, the heart of what you do, into this spot here. Okay?
Gotcha.
It's great you got your phone number there, and it's good that it's clickable. Let me check. Is it clickable? No, it's not clickable. There's some magic buttons in the background you can do to make that a clickable number. Okay. This photo's probably not helping you. It's good for a small photo, not a big one, because of the graininess of it. Also, this guy, that's you a couple of years ago. He's a good guy. You want to have a bit more of him on the site, but no one cares that you started with as a sole trader. Does that make sense? So talk about like, you know, started helping people with such and such in 2018, got our registration, you know, we've been helping people with XYZ, but it's not a resume, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay, so you want to show the heart of what you do, not the facts.
Right.
Okay, facts repel people, the heart draws people.
Sure.
Okay, and your mission, dedication, and values here, it's like the thing is, Christopher, I know you now, I know you're the real deal. The problem is everyone's claiming this stuff. So somehow we need to explain why that matters to people. It's like, this is how we help you. Like instead of mission, it's like, here's what we stand for you. Vision. Instead of vision, it's like, here's what we want to see for your life or your family's life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've got a big job ahead of you creating that content. And one more thing, it's like that no one reads text like that. Okay? If you put in 4 subheadings, 1, 2, 3, 4, people will read it. Let me show you an example. If I go to say these guys' SIL page, you've got heading, a bit of text, heading, a bit of text. See that?
Sure. Yeah.
Because people won't read the text, but they will read the headings. And then when they've read the headings, they'll have confidence in you.
Yeah.
At the moment, they won't read it, so that doesn't help. And it's real, it's fun, it's sort of funny. It's like if you can get your support workers to like photos of them just doing real life stuff, things that don't look staged. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what you've got here is this is really common, Christopher. You've got a website that's not really achieving its purpose because it's what you started with in day one, and
Yeah.
yeah. So at the moment you're going to work with it, try and tweak it a bit. It'll get it a bit better, and then sometime in the next, say, so you've got like say 15, 20 participants. Like sometime in the next say 6 months, rebuild it. Just make it look like it's 2024. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate that.
No worries. But it's not urgent. The more urgent thing is getting the clarity around what you do. Okay. And Chris, I guess it's easy for me to say, hey guys, Chris is the real deal. He knows his stuff. Just in case someone's watching this going, oh great, I've learned how to fix my own website. And by the way, where are you, Chris? Like, Chris, where do you actually serve people?
In Western Sydney, from Auburn to Penrith
Awesome.
areas.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. Well, Chris, thank you for taking the time to make this video with me and for, I don't know, not everyone's willing to have their own website sort of dissected in front of an audience. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Guys, if you want to catch Chris, he's at metier.com.